time is now 4:30. I will call the regular meeting of the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On our agenda today, we would like to first introduce our McDowell student ambassadors. We have two students from McDowell Senior High School that will be ambassadors and are almost a liaison to the Mill Creek Township School District. And with us today, we have Adya Gupta and Eric McMahon. Both of them are going to do a quick introduction. Go ahead. And Eric, you can speak right into that mic. Don't be afraid of it.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone. My name is Eric McMahon, and I am a senior at McDowell High School. Ever since I was a freshman, I've been heavily involved in McDowell Media, which is our school's student media organization. So you can definitely find me spending many evenings after school working on our next big project or upgrade in our television studio. I have won second place twice in a journalism competition through the club, as well as first place in a media arts competition. Outside of school, I like to go on bike rides or an adventurous drive when I can, and I've always paid attention to my community since I was little, kind of pointing out the changes and events around town over time, little things that I've noticed from being driven around and stuff over the years. And through this ambassador program, I'm excited to gain a closer connection with the place that I've grown up in all my life and gain some skills that I can use in college.
That's great. Thank you, Eric. Eric, quick question for you.
Yes?
Sorry, you weren't.
Oh, yeah.
Who did you have as a teacher at McDowell for your media?
Mrs. Stephanie Weiss. She's the advisor.
I love Mrs. Weiss. I just want to say this out loud and in public for all to hear. Mrs. Weiss is one of the most amazing teachers in all of Mill Creek Township School District.
Most definitely, yes.
Yes. All right. You had a good teacher there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Adya Gupta, and I'm also a senior at McDowell High School. At McDowell, I'm involved with many clubs and programs, including Youth in Medicine, Literacy Club, International Club, and the Distinctive Scholar Program. Outside of school, I spend my time volunteering at Asbury Woods Nature Preserve and teaching after-school math programs at local elementary schools. So giving back to the community has always been a priority for me, and I'm excited to represent McDowell and share more about our academics and student life. After high school, I plan to major in chemistry with the ultimate goal of being a physician, and I thank you for this opportunity to learn more about how our local government works. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on.
Oh, more questions.
Thank you very much. I want everyone to know that another human being that I love is actually Adya's sister, who I had in 8th grade English, and she and I have had been close. She was a wonderful student and just a good human.
Yeah,
so,
I'm happy to hear that. I know she talks about you a lot too, so she remembers.
I'm so honored that now I get to know you.
Yeah, it was nice to meet everyone, actually. So
yes,
I'm happy to be here.
Really happy to have you here. Thank you very much for being interested even in your local government. So, because it's so important. Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome. Yes, we'll give them a round of applause. Okay, next up on our agenda, we have public comment on agenda items other than development and rezoning. Any comment on agenda items? Okay, then we are going to move on to the approval of the minutes. We have minutes from October 8th, 2024, regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Ouellette and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Mr. Ouellette, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. We now have approval of the bills. In front of us are the bills.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Ouellette and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the public hearing on subdivision plans. We have 2 subdivision plans that are going to be open for hearings today. To speak on this first one, Mr. Waldinger, our Director of Planning and Development, the replat of lands for Lynn and Stephen Hawes.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. This is a subdivision plan to show the creation of a 700 square foot parcel A from 2911 Kahi Road, which is to become an integral part of 3536 Meadow Drive, creating an 11,776 square foot parcel and a 14,103 square foot residue lot in Tract 22. At their regular meeting of Tuesday, October 1st, 2024, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of the subdivision with the requirement that Parcel A become an integral part of 3536 Meadow Drive.
Thank you very much. We will go ahead and open the hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of the Lynn and Stephen Hawes subdivision plan? Okay. Seeing there is no one to speak on that plan, I will go ahead and close the hearing.
Just any public comment from anyone else on it besides a representative?
Any other public comment? Okay. All right. Seeing none, I will then close the hearing. Do we have any questions for Mr. Waldinger?
None here.
No.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the subdivision plan?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. The next is a replat of lands for 5415 Properties LLC subdivision. And to speak on this is Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. This is a subdivision plan to show the creation of a 1,962 square foot parcel A to become an integral part of 5415 Westlake Road, which would create a 36,103 square foot lot and, that would create a 36,103 square foot lot. This also shows the creation of an 8,070 square foot parcel B that would become an integral part of 5421 Westlake Road to create a 13,635 square foot lot in Tract 282. And at their regular meeting of Tuesday, October 1st, 2024, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision with the following requirements: that Parcel A become an integral part of 5415 Westlake Road, and that Parcel B become an integral part of 5421 Westlake Road.
Thank you very much. Anyone here, any questions first for Mr. Waldinger?
None here.
Okay, then I will go ahead and open up the hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on the replat of the lands at 5415 Properties? Anyone here to speak from the public for or against? Okay, hearing none, we will go ahead and close the hearing. Seeing there were no questions for Mr. Waldinger, I will ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I will second that motion.
Okay, a motion was made by Mr. Olet, seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. We now are at bids and quotations. First on the agenda here is new fire trucks, 2 from the Mill Creek Fire Department. To speak on this is Chief Cliff.
Thank you. After the second quarter Fire Commission meeting, there was a recommendation made to the Township Supervisors to purchase 2 fire engines for Mill Creek Township Fire Department. We did form a truck committee and conducted a formal bidding process. We did have 3 proposals back, with Pierce Manufacturing from Glick Fire Equipment being the lowest and best bid. It's my recommendation to purchase 2 Pierce Saber fire engines from Glick Fire Equipment in the amount of $1,714,342. The PO must be received by October 25th to take advantage of the full prepaid discount. Mill Creek Township will secure the financing to be paid for within 30 days of execution of the purchase agreement. And I would add that in the approval, it would authorize me as the fire chief to execute the purchase agreement with Glick, and it's my recommendation to approve.
Thank you very much. Questions for Chief Cliff?
I have a couple, Kim. So Chief, just maybe for the audience, just can you go over just kind of the money end of it? Just so they understand, you know, how it lays out with the discount?
Sure.
And then the kind of the time span it would, you know, it would go to paying off these fire trucks.
Absolutely. So the original quote came back at $1,949,000. There's multiple discounts. One was a discount for a multiple order discount of $22,000. And we had another discount for a prepaid discount, meaning we would execute financing through the township's financial institution for financing of the fire trucks. They would pay the amount in full up front, and in that full upfront payment, we would get another discount of $29,970. The goal will be to finance these fire trucks over a 5-year period. I think I ran the numbers. It's going to be somewhere around $390,000 to $400,000 a year for 5 years to pay off. With the execution of the buyer's agreement, it'll essentially take anywhere between 30 and 32 months to build these fire trucks and have them delivered. So it's an extended wait process. All the manufacturers are still seeing extended delays in the manufacturing. So currently, these two trucks that we would be replacing, one is currently 14 years old, the other one is 16 years old. So by the time that these new engines would be delivered, those two would be moved to reserve apparatus. So it is a lengthy process.
What's the average lifespan of a engine?
Typically, we'd like to get 25 to 30 years out of a fire engine.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Can I add that there is also an additional discount for prepayment of another $182,688. So we would be looking at saving a little over $200,000 by purchasing this by the 25th of October.
So the company, is it Glick?
Yes.
So they are going to be satisfied in whole?
Correct.
And then do we know what financing arm we'd be using?
We have two proposals right now. Both are a lease-to-own, lease-to-purchase type of financing. We have proposals for either 5, 7, or 10 years. I think we're looking at going towards the 5-year route. We're just kind of settling down on exactly what we want to do, and we do have 30 days to decide what we do for the financing of this.
And if we did go with the 5-year, is there any penalty if it would be satisfied earlier?
I do not believe so.
No. Not in the financing options I've looked at.
And there is also, from what I remember reading in the proposals, that if for some reason something would happen in that 3-year period that we did not receive these, then there's conditions in there as well that we would be made whole again from what we have paid into.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. I have no further questions.
Okay. And the purchases, I have just one question. The purchases are recommended by the Fire Commission.
Correct.
So is it 5 fire stations? Westlake and?
Westlake, Westridge, Kearsarge, Bell Valley, Lakeshore, MPS, and then it also has 3 citizen members on the Fire Commission as well.
And they all are recommending the purchase of these 2 fire trucks?
It was a unanimous vote to recommend to the supervisors to purchase them.
Okay. And I know it's been said we have a lot of vehicles, but they are aged out,
Correct.
just to be clear? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
One more quick question.
Sure.
Where would these be serviced? I know delivery time is a couple years out, but who's servicing the vehicles now?
For repairs and maintenance service,
Correct.
so Glick has a service center as well. It's out of Pittsburgh. They also have some mobile repair people that would come up. It would be under warranty, so
Okay.
we'd have service through warranty under Glick.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the feasibility study, Park and Rec Department. And to speak on this is Ashley Marsteller.
Thank you. As the Parks and Recreation Department has recently completed a 5-year strategic plan, a key finding of the study was that the township should target investments into centralized, high-demand assets and amenities. Within that objective, a top action item was to assess the feasibility of developing a centralized community center which incorporates high-demand programs and amenities. The Parks and Recreation Department is seeking to retain the professional services of Ballard King Associates for conducting a feasibility study and operational and financial analysis as it pertains to a community center in Mill Creek Township. Ballard King is a leader in recreation facility assessment and planning. They are committed to comprehensive planning and operation consulting services in order to empower the client with the tools, information, and confidence necessary to provide for the effective and efficient use of available resources to design and successfully operate sports, recreation, and wellness facilities. Ballard King has completed over 800 feasibility studies across the United States and has worked on a multitude of projects within Pennsylvania as well. The team at Ballard King would provide the township with a market analysis, recreation programming analysis, operations analysis, economic impact study, and a final comprehensive report. The study and report will be an extremely valuable resource as the Parks and Recreation Department moves forward in recommendations of the Parks and Recreation Strategic Plan. The fee for this study will be covered by the capital budget surplus of the Parks and Recreation Department, and it would be my recommendation to retain the services of Ballard King Associates to conduct a feasibility study and operational analysis for a prospective community center in Mill Creek Township for a fee not to exceed $24,000.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Marsteller? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion was made by Mr. Bach and seconded by Mr. Olet. Any discussion? Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes, motion carries. Next, we move on to ordinance 2024-8. It's an ordinance of the Township of Mill Creek amending certain definitions of the Township of Mill Creek's general employees pension plan. And to speak on this is Attorney Shaw.
Before you is ordinance 2024-8, which amends certain definitions of the township's general employees pension plan based on recommendations from Mockenhaupt, the pension administration company. The amendments provide that all members of the township's fire department hired on or after November 1 of 2023 are excluded from the plan. It extends the leave of absence period from 12 months to 18 months and clarifies the language related to periods of military service. This language has been reviewed by Mockenhaupt and Labor Council, and my recommendation would be to approve this ordinance.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Attorney Shaw? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet, seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes, and motion carries. New amended ordinance is under review. Subdivision and Land Development Ordinance, Saldo, and the Amendment International Property Maintenance Code and International Fire Code Amendments. Mr. Shaw.
Yes, just two ordinances we're currently looking at. The Saldo, we are continuing to do the final review with the development and planning departments and engineering. And then in addition, the International Property Maintenance Code and International Fire Code updates. The township currently uses the 2015 version of these codes, and it's been recommended that the township move to the 2018 version. We're working on making the needed changes to accommodate the changes that have occurred in those codes.
Great, thank you very much. And no action is required, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. We'll move on then to number 10, new and amended I lied, sorry. I misspoke. Number 11, Resolution 2024 R37. This is the Fire Prevention Month proclamation, and to speak on this is Mr. Dan Olet.
Thank you. Be it resolved, the following pronouncement be recorded into the official minutes of the Mill Creek Township Supervisors Meeting of October 22nd, 2024. Whereas the Township of Mill Creek is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting Mill Creek Township, and whereas newer homes are built with lightweight materials that burn faster than older home construction. Whereas these conditions contribute to a much smaller window of time for people to escape a home fire safely, with people having as little as 1 to 2 minutes to escape from the time the smoke alarm sounds. Practicing a home fire escape plan twice a year ensures that everyone in the household knows what to do in a real fire situation. Whereas Mill Creek Township Emergency Management, Mill Creek Township's volunteer fire departments, and the Mill Creek Township Fire Department are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention, protection, and education. Therefore, we, the Mill Creek Township Supervisors, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as Fire Prevention Month throughout the community. We encourage all Mill Creek Township residents to install smoke detectors on every floor of their home. We also urge our residents to develop a home fire escape plan with all members of the household and practice it at least twice a year, and to participate in public safety activities and efforts of Mill Creek Township's fire and emergency services during Fire Prevention Month 2024.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olet. Does this require action, Attorney Shaw?
Yes,
Okay. Would you like to make that in the form of a motion, Mr. Olet?
I would.
I'll second this.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet, and it was seconded by Mr. Bach. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote, sorry, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. I just want to make a quick comment, because when I hear you talk about the smoke alarm going off, I think about mine going off every day when I have things in the oven. Yes, okay. Well, my husband's at home laughing at that one. Okay, next up we have Resolution 2024 R38, a resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015 R20 and the Municipal Records Manual to approve the proposed disposition of certain township records. To speak on this is Attorney Shaw.
and before you is Resolution 2024 R38 to approve the disposition of certain municipal records maintained by the police department that are reaching the end of their retention period under the Municipal Records Manual. Records to be disposed include MVR BWC footage that includes test recordings between the time of 8/24/24 through 9/13 of 24, traffic stops from 7/25/24 through 8/14 of 24, incident only and special circumstances reports from 10/23/22 through 11/12/22, and case report, arrest report, and SRR unknown type reports from 10/23/04 through 11/12/04. My recommendation would be to approve the disposal of these records.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Attorney Shaw? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the disposition of records?
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Bach, seconded by Mr. Olet. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Resolution 2024 R39 is a resolution of the Mill Creek County of Erie Commonwealth authorizing the exoneration of outstanding property taxes, penalties, and interest for the fees for tax years 2022 to 2023 for Erie County Tax ID number 33016.019.0268.53. To speak on this is Attorney Shaw.
Yeah, before you is Resolution 2024 R39, authorizing the exoneration of the real estate taxes for the property located at 5005 Zook Road, Lot 19, TRL, bearing the Erie County Tax ID number that you read. The mobile home was recently determined to be abandoned. The township taxes to be exonerated on the property located at this address are from 2022 through 2023 and total approximately $81.59.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the exoneration of taxes?
Let me just, I'm sorry, correct that. It looks like it's $749.40. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, the township support, the total is $749 for all three entities. Yeah, that's correct, and the township portion was $81.59.
So the exoneration of $81 and
59 cents.
59 cents. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Bach and seconded by Mr. Olet. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Similar is Resolution 2024-R40. To speak on this is Attorney Shaw.
Resolution 2024-R40 relates to a request relating to a paper street. We've received requests from residents seeking that the township acknowledge that its rights to the paper streets described in the resolution has expired, and that's they want the expiration of the township's right to open Winslow Drive west from Crowell Street to Wolf Road, now known as Kuntz Road, and fronting along lots 13 through lot 16 of the Walnut Acres subdivision, Erie County Map Book, Map Book 3, pages 116 and 117. This resolution recognizes that the township has no rights or interest in the unopened portions of Winslow Drive as laid out in the 1927 subdivision map. The residents' properties abut the portion of Winslow Drive in the Walnut Acres subdivision that was never been opened by the township or used by the public in more than 21 years. As a result, any interest in those paper streets held by the township have long expired under state law. So by this resolution, the board will recognize that the township no longer has any rights in the portions of the unopened portion of Winslow Drive that was laid out more than 21 years ago as described in this resolution. Essentially, the folks that live adjacent to this are looking to ultimately incorporate this property into their property, but they need the township to acknowledge that it no longer has any rights to it. Then they can proceed to a quiet title action and get that resolved in the courts. But so this resolution is important from that perspective, and the recommendation would be to approve this resolution.
Any questions for Attorney Shaw? Okay, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2024-R40?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Bach and seconded by Mr. Olet. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. 15 on the agenda, Code Enforcement Settlement Agreement, 2710 Pittsburgh Avenue.
Yes, the township had previously entered into a settlement agreement with the previous owner of the property located at 2710 Pittsburgh Avenue to resolve a civil code enforcement action involving violations of the property maintenance code at the property. Under that settlement agreement, the township agreed to dismiss the civil action it had in exchange for the former property owner consenting to a lien to be filed against the property in order to recover the costs incurred by the township in its code enforcement action. The lien was recently filed at docket number 2024 50,073 in the amount of $17,000, $540.32. The property has since been sold to Yolva LLC on September 30th, 2024. The lien was not paid off at the time the property was purchased, and it remains a lien against the property. The new owner has approached the township regarding the lien and the possibility of entering into a similar agreement with that the township had with the prior owner concerning the payment of the lien. The proposed agreement before you would be between the township and Yolva LLC and provides that the $17,540.32 lien will remain on the property, and the new owner has agreed to take all reasonable efforts to satisfy the lien. Under the proposed agreement, the township agrees not to take action to collect on the municipal lien for a period of 1 year from the date of the agreement. The township also agrees not to charge interest on the lien for a period of 1 year from the date of the agreement. This agreement is similar to the terms of the agreement with the prior property owner. The new property owner has agreed to the terms of this agreement, and I would recommend approval of this agreement.
Thank you very much, Attorney Shaw. Are there any questions for Attorney Shaw?
No, I don't have this information in the packet.
Cheryl, I think you emailed it earlier today. Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's our standard agreement that we've entered into with, in these code enforcement actions. A lot of times it's, it's ultimately easier to get them to agree to the lien and, give them time to pay it off over time. In this case, the lien that was imposed was simply, I think, a matter of less than a month or two ago.
Right.
And they were able to turn around and sell it quickly, and the new owner has agreed to step into the prior owner's shoes on that, so.
Okay.
And if it's not paid off within a year, then the 10% interest begins to accrue at that point in time, and which would then be paid when the house sells.
So the new owner will make payments to us?
They'll pay us, the idea is that they would pay us within the year, or they'll be subject to the 10% interest that would then begin to accrue.
Right.
I think the problem with this property in particular was the mortgage exceeded, I think, the value of the property and the lien combined versus against what was paid for the parcel, so.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve the code enforcement settlement agreement?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet, seconded by Mr. Bach. Any other discussion? Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Number 16, the Mill Creek Golf and Learning Center agreement renewal with Dave Smith. To speak on this is Ms. Marsteller, Director of Park and Rec. Wait. Sorry. I lied. I mean, I misspoke.
It said golf, Ashley.
It said,
That's you.
I think golf, I think Ashley.
Sure.
Actually, speaking on this is, again, Attorney Shaw.
Before you is the amendment to the 2020 agreement for provision of management and select maintenance services for the Mill Creek Golf and Learning Center. The agreement is with Dave Smith Golf, who has been operating the Mill Creek Golf and Learning Center since the 2020 golf season. The township previously amended the agreement in 2023 to extend the term through October 15 of 2024. Our experience with Mr. Smith has been positive, and he has generated increasing revenues to the township each year he's been in operation. And under this agreement, the term would be extended by 1 year and will go through the golf season of 2025 with a termination date set at October 31 of 2025. This second amendment also includes an optional 1-year extension at the election of the township. The recommendation would be to approve the extension agreement.
Thank you very much. Any questions on this? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Bach, seconded by Mr. Olet. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Sanitary sewer easement, Cranberry Place Realty, and to speak on this is Attorney Shaw.
Before you is an easement agreement between the township and Cranberry Place Realty LLC for 4 parcels located at Pittsburgh Avenue, Lot 3, at tax assessment number 3397-418.1.12.02. Pittsburgh Avenue, Lot 2, 3397-418.1-12.01. West Grandview Boulevard, 3397-418.1-11.02, and 2125 West Grandview Boulevard at 3397-418.1-11. The agreement gives the township an easement for the construction and continuing maintenance of a sanitary sewer pipeline to be installed on the Cranberry Place property. It also includes a temporary construction easement as well as a permanent easement. It is recommended that this agreement be approved. The amount being paid by the township for the easement is $8,000, which was determined by an appraisal obtained by the township, plus attorney's fees incurred by the property owner in negotiating the easement. This is viewed as a settlement between the parties to avoid condemnation proceedings. As I indicated, the recommendation would be to approve the easement agreement, and this is for the Kearsarge force main replacement.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Attorney Shaw? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. We now have the purchase, sale, and lease of a West Ridge Fire Department engine. And to speak on this is Attorney Shaw.
Westlake Fire.
What did I say? I am so sorry. Oh, my goodness.
All right.
The purchase, sale, and lease of West Lake, oh my gosh, it almost came out again, Fire Department engine. Thank you, Attorney Shaw.
Sure. On March 28th of 2024, Westlake Fire Department, together with Kearsarge Fire Department and West Ridge Fire Department, entered into the Fire Protection, Ambulance, and Emergency Services Agreement with the township. Under paragraph 10F-I-1 of that agreement, the township, at the option of the volunteers departments, shall assume the financial obligations of any existing debt service held by such volunteer department relating to any apparatus, provided such volunteer department signs over the title to such apparatus. Under this provision of the agreement, Westlake Fire Department has approached the township requesting that the township assume the debt service of Westlake associated with Westlake's 2018 Spartan MFD truck. Westlake has a loan through First National Bank of Pennsylvania for the truck with an outstanding balance of $206,475.52. The next loan payment is due on November 1 of 2024, so the plan would be for the township to make that payoff before November 1 of 2024. Before you are several documents that need to be approved and executed. First, there is the purchase and sale agreement for the fire truck. Under the agreement, the township agrees to pay off the debt service, and Westlake agrees to transfer title to the township. In addition, Westlake agrees to execute a bill of sale, which is also before you. And lastly, under the agreement, Westlake and the township will execute a vehicle lease under which the township will lease back the fire truck to Westlake for a period of 10 years for $1 a year, and Westlake will be responsible for maintaining the fire truck in good repair and condition, except normal wear and tear. Westlake shall also be responsible for all costs incurred in operating the vehicle, including but not limited to fuel, routine maintenance, and any non-routine repairs. The township will have the right to use the fire truck in accordance with the terms of the March 2024 Fire Protection Agreement. The township will also continue to insure the vehicle in accordance with that agreement. The recommendation that would be to approve, for the board to approve and execute the agreement and the lease. Only Westlake needs to execute the bill of sale. And it's my understanding that they have reviewed this agreement and approve it for execution.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions for Attorney Shaw on this? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the Westlake Fire Department engine?
So moved.
I just have a quick question.
Oh, sure.
Maybe more for Melanie. Where are the funds? Is this coming out of the fire fund?
This will be coming out of the fire capital budget. We've been kind of planning for this most of the year, so the funds are there and
Fire
available.
capital.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I think Dan made a motion.
I did.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Stormwater management operation and maintenance agreements. We have two of them. One at 1411 Trinity Drive, Tom Montagna developer. And to speak on this is going to be Mr. Waldinger.
Yes, thank you. Engineer Rob Rodemoyer asked me if I could present these. If it's okay with you, can I present both of them together at the same time?
Yes, that would be great for me.
Yeah, there are two stormwater maintenance management maintenance and operation agreements in front of you. Both of those are for single-family homes. One is at 1411 Trinity Drive, Tommy and Montagna developer. The other is at 5946 Mystic Ridge. Rusty and Christine Ward are the developer there. The forms are the township standard forms for operation and maintenance agreements. They have been signed by both parties, and Engineer Rodemoyer recommends approval of both agreements.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions on, and both of, I guess I have a question. Well, let me ask from the board first. Any questions for Mr. Waldinger?
Nope.
And and Mr. Rodemoyer did approve both of these, so.
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve then the stormwater management operation and maintenance agreements?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Bach and seconded by Mr. Olet. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. We are now at communications. Up first are treasurer communications. Ms. Page, do you have anything for us?
I don't have anything additional.
Thank you very much. We have hiring requests today. Public Works Building Maintenance Department, Rob Donikowski.
Thank you. Good evening. The Building Maintenance Department is seeking approval to hire Dalton Kalashewski as a building maintenance laborer at a rate of $20.74 per hour. Dalton currently works for the YMCA for the past 8 years in the maintenance department. Dalton is involved in maintaining the facilities, cleaning, painting, minor repairs, and preventative maintenance of equipment. He also does landscaping for Langford Land Services for the past 3 years, and he has a Class B CDL, and I would recommend his hire.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Donikowski? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any other discussion? Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. The other hiring request is in the Community Relations and Sustainability Department, and to speak on this is Ms. Stutzman.
Good evening, thank you. The CRS department recently conducted 6 interviews to find the right candidate for the open communications coordinator position, and we had quite an outstanding turnout of resumes as well. I'm pleased to recommend Chantel Rodriguez to fill this position. Chantel comes to Mill Creek Township from WQLN as their marketing coordinator for 1.5 years and was previously employed as a weekend news producer, digital writer for Nexstar Media Group before that. She also held a public relation internship for the Eastside Renaissance and Public's Voice Media. Chantel has a bachelor's degree in communications from Penn State Barron, and she has been recognized nationally and locally for her social media efforts, most recently being awarded the Nonprofit Partnerships Excellence Award for Young Professional of the Year. It is my recommendation that Chantel begins employment on October 29th, 2024 at a starting salary of $48,000 per year.
Thank you very much. Impressive resume. On both candidates, actually. Any questions for Ms. Stutzman? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any other discussion? Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carries. Congratulations to both.
Thank you.
We now have a community relations and sustainability report from Ms. Stutzman.
Okay, I've got 2. On Saturday, September 21st, Bridger Park came alive with community spirit as 18 dedicated volunteers took part in the 2024 International Coastal Cleanup. Together, they collected an impressive 23 bags of litter totaling 258 pounds from the banks of Walnut Creek. This cleanup is a part of a larger global effort on this day. Erie County alone had 1,000 volunteers and collected an outstanding 4,000 pounds of litter. The work done here in Mill Creek is crucial as Walnut Creek, behind the Mill Creek Mall, eventually drains into Lake Erie, impacting communities far downstream. Each small action we take contributes to a healthier ecosystem. Thank you to all of our volunteers who made a significant difference on this day. And in the first week of October, Asbury Woods welcomed over 500 eager students to its annual Children's Water Festival from 10 different public and private schools. 12 organizations contributed to the success of this day, and the festival featured a hands-on lesson led by 3 Mill Creek Township employees, Ashley Marsteller, Jean Clement, and myself, who taught participants about the water cycle using glass jars and water cycle kits. As the students patiently observed the process of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, they were captivated by the scientific explanation behind the water cycle happening inside these jars. While waiting for their experiments to unfold, the township instructors took the opportunity to educate the students then about aqueducts and the vital importance of conserving fresh water. They emphasized how crucial this conservation is, particularly in the Great Lakes region, for the survival of both humans and the ecosystem. The festival not only provided fun and interactive learning, but also instilled a sense of responsibility in the next generation about protecting their precious water resources.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before I move too far past that, Ms. Marsteller, you have something going on this weekend, this Thursday and this weekend. Would you like to announce that?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, this weekend we have our Mill Creek Community Art Show, our 58th annual Mill Creek Community Art Show. Yes, taking place at the Asbury Barn. It's open to the public from 1 to 4 each day. We collected the artwork last week, and it was jured professionally last night, and there's a wonderful collection of artwork from our very creative and talented neighbors and friends.
Wow. Are they, they're all residents of Mill Creek, or?
Correct, yes, they're all residents of Mill Creek, both youth and adult artists, and it's a really nice show, and so much talent in our community. It's very well done. So congratulations to all the artists, and we thank them for participating. And if you have some time, it's free, completely free, and open to the public to take a look at our gallery.
At Asbury Barn?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know that wasn't on the agenda. Executive sessions were held October 11th and 17th, 2024. On October 11th, litigation matters relating to easement disputes, federal and state court lawsuits, and code enforcement matters were discussed, as well as personnel matters and real estate matters related to park and rec facilities and sewer and stormwater easements. On October 17th, 2024, litigation matters related to zoning, hearing board appeals, code enforcement, easement disputes, and state court lawsuits were discussed, as well as personnel matters and real estate matters related to park and rec facilities and sewer and storm easements. Solicitor communication, anything else for us, Mr. Shaw?
I think I spoke enough today.
Never. Okay, 21 on the agenda are citizens to be heard. Do we have anyone here to speak in the citizens to be heard? We have a plethora. Who would like to go first? Okay. Everyone gets 5 minutes, yes? And we ask that you state your name into the record. You don't have to state your address, but you do. We ask that you write your address down so we have it.
My name is Robert Morgan. I live at 3840 Chapel Hill Drive, up off of Hershey Road. Thanks for the opportunity to address the Board of Supervisors. Before I get into the reason for my coming, I want to congratulate the Streets Department on the great job they did on our streets this year. They finished the Chapel Hill subdivision from the original plan that had been in place, and the roads are really nice. They did nice feathering jobs on everybody's driveway. Also want to congratulate the Parks Department. They have improved the work that's being done in the parks, keeping the grass cut. Parks look really good.
Thank you.
I'm here because of the surprise appearance of 6 stop signs in our small, nearly cul-de-sac community. The Chapel Hill subdivision is approximately 60 years old, with approximately 52 houses and no new builds in the last 40 years. I've spoken to several 40-year residents, and I have been a resident for the last 35 years. No one I've spoken to remembers any vehicle accidents in the community. So the appearance of the stop signs was a complete surprise in this mature neighborhood. I had originally visited the township building to get answers to a couple questions, but after discussions with the receptionist, was told the 2 people who had knowledge about the stop signs were not available. One of the young ladies behind the glass enclosure asked what I needed to speak to them about. I said we had too many stop signs. She took my contact info and said Jeff would contact me. It's been 2 weeks since that conversation took place. No one contacted me, so that's why I'm here. The 3 questions I had for someone at the township building that day was how I could get a copy of the study that was done that made the decision that we needed stop signs after we didn't need them for 60 years. And there is no memory of any accidents. If there was no study, how could I get a copy of the township criteria that decides on placing a stop sign? And if that was not available, I ask why a solution was developed when there was no problem.
Are you finished?
I'm finished.
Okay. I know I can speak to some of this. We had approximately 187 intersections in Mill Creek Township that are considered to be, they are, uncontrolled. Thank you, that was the word I was looking for, uncontrolled intersections, which means there was no direction on what to do at an intersection, whether it be at a T or fork. So the 187 uncontrolled intersections have been being addressed for the last 2 years, I think, right now, by our traffic department. And it is something that had been kind of kicked down the road for 60 years. But
That was a good decision to do that, to continue to kick it.
Oh, you wanted it to be kicked. I see. When it comes to insurance companies and accidents, when they are uncontrolled, unfortunately, I know that there are some different neighborhoods that everyone kind of knows the rules, or they're the only people that are on those roads. But in order to create control into those intersections, the signs went up.
Is there a copy of this study of 186? Can I get a copy of that?
Yeah, I do. I actually have the work orders for all, I don't know how many we're at. I know at least 100 of the 187 have been done.
I'm not interested in the work orders. I'm not interested in the work
orders. But those are
orders.
Well, all intersections that are uncontrolled need controlled.
even if the road is not used?
I lived in that intersection, or in that subdivision. Is there a road in there that isn't used?
Yeah, the one right in front of my house.
Which one is that one?
I lived right across the street from you.
On Chapel Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the top of the triangle.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, 3 people use that road.
okay.
The garbage truck, the post office, and someone who's come into the neighborhood by mistake and used it to turn around.
And don't forget about the bus stops, because there were vehicles that used to go through and almost hit my daughter a few different times at that intersection because they didn't know to stop.
Is there a way to get a copy of something
Sure
that,
thing.
that identified those intersections?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
Who would I see to get that?
You know what, why don't you put your name, address, and phone number down on that, and we'll make sure we get information to you. You can leave it right there.
I'll leave it right
Yeah,
here.
that sounds great, yes, yes. Oh, is that your sheet of paper? Mm-hmm. Okay, why don't you, yeah, I'll take that actually, or maybe give it to Rob. And then Rob, I'll grab that from you after the meeting. Okay, thanks.
I'll wait for that, thank you.
Okay, someone else to speak.
Hello, my name's Stan Green. I'm a retired lieutenant from the Erie Police Department. I live at 3640 Argyle Avenue. The reason I'm here, and my neighbor is also here, is our concern about 3634 Argyle Avenue, which is the Triber House. Yeah, I see all of you nodding.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been nodding now for like 5-6 years. Wondering what's going to happen. The house is falling apart, the siding's coming off. There's trees growing to the point where you can't see the stop sign most of the time next to the house. There's a garage falling down. We all take care of our houses. Doctor just built a house in a lot next door to this ranch, probably 5 years ago. There's a boat that's blocking a public sidewalk. 30 years in a police department, I know when a vehicle or something blocks a public sidewalk, It normally doesn't take a whole lot to get it removed. Apparently it does here. It's been 2 years. My last conversation as to why that took place, time-wise, is because financially it doesn't make sense to tow the boat. That doesn't make sense to any of us in the neighborhood. You talk about insurance and accidents. Well, the boat now sits, the tongue is broke. It sits on concrete blocks that have now moved to a point where it's getting ready to fall into the street. If a child jumps on it and out of curiosity to look inside, and the boat falls and kills the child or adult, then what do we have? Not to mention there are now trees growing outside of the boat. Trees and weeds. We've looked at this, like I said, for 5 years. Ms. Stryber died a year ago, and there's been squatters living in this house ever since. As a police officer, I understand how tough it is to deal with squatters. I understand that, but it's just ridiculous. And he has now taken on renters, and we get Mill Creek police officers into our quiet, nice neighborhood now, 1 to 2 times a week at this house. We would like to know what's going to be done or what's being done. Pictures for 2 years. Not you personally, but Mill Creek comes there and they take pictures. In fact, they were there taking pictures today. Why? I mean, how many pictures do you need over a 2-year period of time before somebody does something? And that's all I got to say. Other than just being fed up because I take care of my house. And so does my neighbors. Everybody around me. It's a nice neighborhood. And we got this dump. That's it for me. I don't know if...
Thank you. Did you write your name and your address down?
Yeah, I can. I mean,
Okay.
it's
And your
been written down and
phone
given
number?
to so many people.
And maybe we can update you. Jim?
I was under the impression that anything in the right-of-way we were going to take care of.
Yeah, that's what we were told.
That was my impression. I think a month ago we talked about
I
it.
mean, even talking about the right-of-way. Now, this is a true story of how ridiculous things can be. We had all new sidewalks put in our neighborhood. We had, of course, the normal signs when you're going to put new sidewalks in. Anybody on this street will be towed if your car is here when we come to build the sidewalk. Well, these people didn't move their car. So the people who come and built the sidewalks built a sidewalk up to the back of the car rather than towing it, and the sidewalk ends there. And that's where they have the boat place now. I mean, who thinks this stuff up? I can't. And I'm not making it up. If you go look at the property, you'll see the sidewalk right up to where the boat is, because that's where they had parked their car on the day they built the sidewalk. The sidewalk on Blackstone, you can't even see anymore. There are pieces of the large tree that have fallen. They're this big around that almost block the stop sign. The woman who's taken residence there with the other squatter is now showing up on my porch. I could show you pictures right now of her sitting on my porch. They've showed up at my neighbor's porch now. So she is coming and sitting on our porches and calling the Mill Creek police and ambulances. Yeah.
So who are these squatters in relationship to
Well, Edith Treiber,
deceased owner?
yeah, Edith Treiber had the one squatter living there with her after her husband died, paying rent. And then obviously she died 1 year and 3 months ago, so there's no one left. Her 2 sons are in prison, one for murder, and we all know that situation. So he's just living there carefree and he never did anything when she was alive either. But he has now taken on a renter, and this woman is terrorizing the Mill Creek police and the ambulance people weekly because she comes there and looks for rides, and when she can't get a ride somewhere, she then says she needs an ambulance. So they call an ambulance for her. And now she's coming to my house and sitting on my steps doing this. She's sitting in my neighbor's steps and in my neighbor's yard doing this. And he jets off. He's driving a truck that I believe has plates that are suspended for non-insurance. I mean, it just goes on that we have to deal with this. We're tired of it, all of us.
Thank you very much. We're going to have someone
You want
follow
me
up
to
with you?
set this with him also?
That would be,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Are you going to second that?
Hi, thank you. John Riley, I live across the street. I'll write down my information here.
Okay.
This is also in reference to 3634 Argyle. The property has been in a complete and total state of disrepair and deterioration for what's going on, it seems like 7 years now. It's not just limited to the house. The house, of course, is in complete disrepair. Siding is coming off, boards are visible. The garage is deteriorating, and the entire property has untold amounts of overgrown hedges all over the place. I mean, if you pull in any direction, you will notice it, because it is set so far in difference to everyone else who maintains their property. Yes, and over the years, there have been many non-functioning vehicles parked out in front. Once, I think one was towed away. I don't know that Mill Creek had anything to do with that, but it'll be 2 years next month that a boat has appeared, and it was left where it currently sits. It's never moved an inch, it's never been covered, it's never been maintained, nor has any real property maintenance or maintenance happened to the property that we can see, and we have to look at it every day. As Stan said, there's been a constant police presence at this property. It used to be once a month, and then it became once a week. Now it is several times a week, and sometimes multiple times in a day. Police, first responders, etc., are constantly there, and all of this, of course, impacts the quality of life of the neighborhood. There are children that live all around there, and now have to witness the behavior of the two people residing inside, and I use that term lightly. They're squatting, constantly coming outside and being a disturbance and calling the police. And lately, as Stan said, they've been coming onto our property now, rolling around in our grass or sitting on our stoops. It's just, it's been awful to look at, and now it's encroaching on our property as well. And I think we're just all unsure of what to do next, because we've all taken the appropriate avenues that we seem to have access to, code enforcement, law enforcement, etc. We're either told there's nothing we can do, or this will happen on a certain date, and then that date passes and nothing happens. I believe we were told back in May or June by code enforcement on one of their many visits that something was going to happen to the property in terms of kind of a clearing. It was scheduled for mid-July, and we're now in November. I'm not sure why these dates are given to us, and I can only go off of what they said, but I feel like we're at a standstill here, and we're unsure, and now it's really, really impacted how enjoyable this neighborhood can be. And I know other residents are scared of the people that live in there. There's some elderly residents that live by themselves who have voiced their concerns to me as well. So yeah, it's a never-ending cycle of police presence, of disrepair, of aggravation, of intrusion now. And so we thought we feel we should come and voice our concerns in that way. So that's all I had to add. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll write down my information as well.
Thank you. Next, someone. Oh. Lydia Caparosa. Attorney Caparosa is going to be, I think, addressing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to give some of an update for these residents as well as for you all, so that there's some clarification on some things. With respect to the code enforcement matters, a civil action was previously filed earlier this year, and that has proceeded through the process with respect to her heirs, who, as you indicated, are both incarcerated. We have obtained default judgments with respect to that. Neither of them responded. However, we did hear from one of the sons indicating that they would be amenable to some arrangement, but requested that we go through his counselor at the State Correctional Institute. And so we're working through that to get a settlement worked out whereby we get him as the owner's permission to go on, do whatever work we cited them for under the violation, and then to file a lien against the property for those costs. Because as you correctly indicated, there's nobody that's going to take care of this property because she's deceased, her husband's deceased, both sons are in prison. There is a mortgage on the property that I'm assuming is delinquent at this point in time. So there is no money from them to take care of it. So that's, one aspect of it. There would be a lien against the property that theoretically the township could then recover those costs through a sale of the property. But with respect to the squatters and who owns it, it would be theoretically Mrs. Stryber's heirs, and that would be really on them to address the squatters, which I don't think they will.
I think if I could just real quick, I think the overall plan would be to, once we can get the lien in place, the township can force a sheriff's sale to collect on the lien and force the hand of that to get it either into the township's hands, in which we can, then go in and fix it up and do what needs to be done. The interior inspection appears to be fine, based on our code person has been on the inside. Doesn't appear to be any issues on the interior, but it is the exterior that obviously is an issue. And then obviously once the township or a new owner would get control, they'd be able to address the squatter issue. And I would guess I would suggest and recommend that, if they're on your property, they're trespassing. And there may be some avenues there to try to deal with that, as a separate, route. But they're still trespassing.
I've been told that if they're in distress, that they would be unlikely to trespass.
But if they're continuing to do that as a pattern of abusing your property, I think they could get around that concept. That's the position I would take. Once maybe, but they do it 2, 3, 4 times. That's just a pattern of trespassing in my mind.
Additionally, not related to the trespassing, but we also have explored with the land bank, because the land bank could be an entity that could come in and take this. As it sits now, with the way the ownership is and with the sons being in prison, they're not inclined to seek out this property because there's concerns relative to the title. And so that's really the option we have moving forward, is to get the lien and to try and, force that sale ourselves, because there has been no foreclosure action filed at this point in time. No, not at all. There was a... She's been passed away for 15 months, so I know... Correct. I was sort of expecting to see something filed, but we haven't seen anything filed, so I don't know if the gentleman who was living there and paying rent is somehow paying on that mortgage. But I'm really surprised that we haven't seen the foreclosure, because the banks have been really quick to file them when they're significantly delinquent. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure about the taxes.
The thing on the taxes, it takes a couple of years before that to go that route, so that, if taxes were paid up until the time she died, then you're still waiting, another 2 or 3 years before it could be forced into a tax sale. We actually had a challenge determining whether she had passed or not, because there was no record of it that we could find. And one of the neighbors actually told us that they had seen her on a date after she had passed. So it took us a while to figure out that, in fact, she had died, because no estate was open. There was no public record of it that we could find. We had heard it, but we couldn't. It took us a while to confirm it.
And I will, like I said, I'm working through as one counselor. I forget which son it is, but I will try following up with them this week to see where they're at on that.
May I ask a quick question?
Certainly.
Do we need one of the sons' permission to go onto the property and chop everything down?
Correct. That's why we're hoping that the one who has at least reached out and indicated a willingness to resolve this, because he's an owner in this point in time, then he would be able to consent to us going on and doing everything and filing the
So
appropriate
can we
liens.
get like a piece of paper to his counselor? Okay.
That's what we're working on.
Okay, to at least get it cleaned up, and then we can lien the property for the cost, but at least get it cleaned up, get the boat out of there, and, no, that's never come up.
That's not anything we've discussed at any of our meetings. I know under the township's towing ordinance, if we tow you, you as the owner of the vehicle, or in this case, the boat, you're the one that's responsible. The township pays it, and then we have to go after you for it. But I don't.
Why is the
boat still there? I don't know. That's, if it's a.
Blocking the sidewalk, there's weeds all over the sidewalk. It's now a hazard. Why is it not gone yesterday? I called the police 3 days ago about this boat. We had police out there, and it's still there.
I don't know, sir. I mean, I know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 years of law.
And that would be probably under our code enforcement, I think. No, that would be under police. Okay. And, yeah, I can look into that. So. And,
No, I don't disagree, but that was, I mean, in terms of the boat, I'm not even sure
Okay.
if any of them are the owners, so.
and I will inquire about the police report that was taken on that. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, next up.
Jerry Svidio, 1720 West Square Road. I'm here to speak to, first of all, I got a question real quick. On the pension thing, did you say excluding or including?
Excluding, there'll be a separate plan at some point.
All right, at some point. Okay. Because of the union? More or less.
More or less.
Okay, now I've been pestering Cheryl, a little bit of Kim, on this ballot on the back. You know, there's a little disparity there. Under Chapter 29, under Title 53, Section C, it says must, just the way Cheryl had it printed. But if you go on the ballot, have you been on the ballot? It doesn't really state it that way. It also doesn't, you know, as far as I've voted before, you always had the option of voting for some. And I've spoken to Karen Chilcott, and I've spoken to Talarico. And he said you don't have to vote for any of the candidates. But under that statute and that Section C, I don't mean, I talk pretty loud. Can you provide clarity to everybody? Do they have to vote for 7? Do they have to vote for 1, 2, none? How about you? Clarify that.
As far as I know, I mean, the language that was on that notice came from the county.
I know.
So that was their language. You know, I'm the same way you are, frankly. If I don't like all the number of candidates that you could vote for, I vote for less than the number. I don't think they discard my ballot as a result. And so, you know, that's kind of how I approach it. I don't know that it's, I've not heard from anybody at the county that says, well, if you don't vote for the number that, you know, is you're able to vote for, it means that your ballot doesn't count. I think you just, you know, vote for the number of people. You can't vote for more than the number, but I think you can vote for less than a number if that's what you choose to do.
Well,
but they want you to vote for somebody because they just don't want you to say, you know, even if you would vote no, you know, it's possible that the majority may say yes, and then you should have some say in who's on that commission.
Sure. Well, you know, how rapidly this came up. So I really don't think this, and even though there isn't a lot of people here, you did your required 3 times, Cheryl told me today, putting it in the paper. Huh? A lot of people still don't know about this study. I think it was rushed. I'm sorry. Somebody might disagree with me. That's fine. But I don't think there's a lot of clarity. And I think that problem rests down there, but I heard the talks were between, and I'm not putting you on the spot, Lydia and Tom. That's what Karen told me. I don't know if it was between Lydia and him or you and Tom.
There was some discussion regarding a different paragraph of that notice, because the language that they had wasn't correct, frankly.
All right.
So we asked them to make some changes to reflect what the statute says.
So
They don't get this very often either, so my sense was that, they went back to, prior notices they've done in similar situations and just kind of went from there.
Well, I was just worried because it was under Title 53 and it says must.
Yeah.
I mean, must. So even though I said it wouldn't disqualify you, it's just that I don't know why that wasn't separate, kind of. And you have the option. But I know it says must, and that's the way you had to have it. So I just think it's important to bring it up so if anybody watches and they go to vote, at least they have some idea that they can vote for 7 or less or none. And they can write in 7 people if they want to. Now to Miss Page. Mrs. Page? Thank you. Did you ever find out where the taxes that the school district, we can talk about this later.
Okay, no, I did not, actually, I'm sorry.
All right. I wonder what you're doing with it and where it's going. What is it going into the fund? Maybe you can tell me, I'll call you.
Okay,
How's it?
why don't you call me?
Thank you.
Yep.
And Mr. Servideo, I do have a little bit of information, just so you know. I was on the election board prior to this, and you can vote for 0 up to 7. If you vote for 8, none of them are counted. That's when it's kicked out. But 0 to 7.
Yeah, all right. It's not clear, though.
They do not make it clear. I think that the wording from the county is misleading. I believe it's a little clearer on the ballot.
So I apologize to Cheryl to making myself a pest till we talked. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think everybody knows who I am. John Groh, former Mill Creek Supervisor and currently Township Auditor. Congratulations, students. You'll be educated, informed, entertained once in a while, too, here. And sometimes you'll walk out of here shaking your head wondering why you're here. So, anyway, a little tongue-in-cheek there. I'm here to comment kind of on the same vein that Jerry just did. Now, I'm seeing this a little different here. And first of all, I'm very concerned about the bottom statement here. Now, there's a number of people on this, the Erie County Board of Elections: Andre Horton, Chris Drexel, Charlie Bale, Rock Copeland, Terry Scatella, and Ellen Schuerman, and Jim Winarski. I also spoke with Karen Chilcott down at the county yesterday, and she said the same thing, that it was this was drafted between Tom Tallarico and Lydia Caparosa. I'm not trying to point the finger at you, Lydia, and Tom's not here, so I don't know, but she said that she herself is not in a position to change anything, that this is something that the election board has to do through their solicitors, and she is not changing anything. So I get that. So she is doing her job as the county clerk. However, I'm looking at a section here of Chapter 53, 2912 of the Consolidated Statutes, letter C, instructions to electors. Each elector shall be instructed to vote on the question, and regardless of the manner of his vote, on the question to vote for the designated number of members on a government commission, who shall serve if the question is or has been determined in the affirmative. So, I don't see the word must in there. Now, as we know, must is kind of an archaic word. It means that there's going to be some huge penalty for failure to do it. That shall means that, yes, it is a requirement, but it's not the must where there is going to be a penalty. Mrs. Clear, I know you're an English teacher, and I think we're not going to be playing word semantics here on this, but this is something that I think could be intimidating to voters, and basically saying, I'm not answering that question, I'm not doing anything on it. I think of other matters where like a school board election, where it says pick 5 out of 9 people running for an office on the school board. This is kind of on the same thing. And if I recall on the ballot, I did vote last week, it said pick up to 7 or no more than 7, I think is what it said. So that is correct, okay? This right here, the plain language statement, isn't so plain language. And that's the part that has me concerned about it. Because what it seems like, this is going to be something that could end up with screwing up the whole, pardon my French, sorry, messing up the whole process for this right here. And that's rather upsetting to see that something like this can happen or be the potential cause of litigation or something being dragged out forever and ever, and then this thing gets tossed back and we have to do it all over again. So I just want to let everybody know about that there. Now I have one other thing here that I want to comment about, the same section but letter B, and it deals with the nomination of candidates. Each candidate shall be nominated and listed without party political designation or slogan. So that means there is no party in all of this right here. And I know there's been a lot of talk and complaints about parties and partisanship, that is. Here, in the law itself, somebody running for the study commission cannot say what party they belong to. So why is this such a big issue? I just can't figure this out. And I have one final comment to make about this. It's a study. It is not a criminal trial. I cannot imagine anything where, say I was charged with a crime, and I'm going to say to the jurors, if I'm being questioned and Mark is representing me, hey Mark, can you ask them, are they a Democrat? I don't want any Republicans on my trial. I don't want them on that jury. I'm a Democrat. I want to make sure they're all Democrats working for me because they're going to get a better treatment. That's how crazy that sounds. That's how crazy this whole thing has become. Thank you for letting me share my comment.
Must is in the paper. Must is in the paper. Must is in the paper 3 times. Section C. Ask them.
Anyone else here to speak? Maybe we should clarify partisanship is, the word partisanship actually refers to bias, not political party. I think that might be a clarification that needs to be made. Anyone else? Okay.
This fired me up. This fired me up. You fired me up.
I think, Mr. Savidio, you've already had your 5.
I didn't get 5 minutes.
You already had it.
All right. All right. I'll be in next.
I'm just saying.
I thank you.
Am I right?
I've seen other people get up twice.
Yeah, we don't usually deny people to be speaking. Okay. Anyone else? All right. With that then, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.